Turn up the volume for this. The 2020 Democratic field is expanding. 8 Democratic candidates have announced their bid for presidency. But when it comes to actual change across the country, all politics is local. We hear that. Now you're going to see it. My next guest, Mayor Michael Tubbs of Stockton, California, hopes he is leading by example. In the city of Stockton, listen to this. Homicides dropped by 40% from 2017. The city also saw a 31% decrease in non-fatal shootings. Plus, Stockton, which has long been plagued by poverty, is testing universal basic income. It is readying plans to deliver in 2 weeks from now $500 a month in donated cash to perhaps 100 local families, no strings attached. Mayor Michael Tubbs of Stockton, California, is with me now. Mayor Michael, you are 28 years old. Stockton is your hometown. You're a Stanford grad. Your family thought this young man is moving on to work for the likes of Google, Facebook, Amazon, but you said, nope, I want to give back to my city. You ran for city council. Now you are the city mayor. Walk us through the success you've had since taking the reins. It's
been a total team effort. And I think, to your point, when I was an intern in the White House, my cousin was a victim of homicide. So when we talk about gun violence and shootings, it's deeply personal. But for the past 2 years, the community has really rallied together, from the police chief to my Office of Violence Prevention to programs like Advanced Peace to the philanthropic community to my council to really look at not just talk about the problems in Stockton, but begin to actualize solutions. So in addition to the gun violence work, we also are preparing to give every graduating senior from our largest school district a scholarship guaranteed for 4 years to a 4-year school, or 2 years to a 2-year school, or 2 years to a trade school. So in Stockton, we're not just talking about the issues we faced for a long time, but we're actually beginning to solve them.
Where are you getting the money to do this? Because you do work with business.
Yeah, well, I've been really blessed and really establishing win-win relationships with philanthropic partners and telling people all the time that charity isn't justice, but you can use philanthropy in ways that get to testing bold ideas like basic income, or get to making higher education aspirations more realistic for our children, and then work with that philanthropic money to figure out, are there public dollars that can help match or help kind of make it sustainable.
Is that your ultimate goal? You are putting universal basic income in place using philanthropic dollars. If it works, is the ultimate goal to get public funds behind it?
Well, I think when you look at this country, you talked about in the last segment, people are feeling economic anxiety. We have 1 in 2 Americans who can't afford one $500 emergency. We have federal workers during the shutdown who are debating cancer treatments or paying rent. And I think there has to be a conversation around what do we do to provide economic floor. So I don't think a city by itself can do basic income, but I do think as a nation or as states, we should really think about what is the sort of economic floor we want to give to the people who call our communities home.
And those who say universal basic income is a giveaway, what do you say to them?
I say it's really consistent with American values. We had Thomas Paine talking about this in the Agrarian Revolution in the late 1700s. Dr. King spent a lot of his life advocating for a basic income paid at the median income. We had socialists like Richard Nixon and Milton Friedman also playing around with the idea of a basic income. And it's consistent with things like the Earned Income Tax Credit, which is wildly popular. So I do think the question is not how to pay for it, as if the political will is there. And I do think, and especially the poll we talked about the last segment, there's people are hungry, not for a handout, but for a floor so they can build upon that.
What's your message to some of these who are running to be our next president in 2020? For you, you've got 2 mentors of yours, Kamala Harris and Cory Booker, already in the race.
Yeah, I think my message is really not talk about what we're against, but what are we for, and really talk about American values. As a country, and a just, moral, civilized country, we shouldn't have as much poverty as we have. I would say we should not have poverty. In a moral, just country, we should be able to come together and solve real challenges. That the people need a vision that really speaks to kind of what they're feeling day to day in a way to actually make change that people believe in, that they can see and they can feel. But it starts with getting us back to the fact that we should be a moral nation, that we treat people with kindness, that everyone has inherent dignity.
And what do you say to those who say that sounds an awful lot like socialism, and there can be conscious capitalism? Because much of the support you have, the philanthropic support, is from those who have thrived on the back of capitalism.
Yeah, well, I think the best part of our system right now is that it's a hybrid. Things like public schools, public libraries are socialist. They're public good. So I think there are ways to make up for some of the gaps in capitalism and unfettered capitalism or crony capitalism, and provide, the state should provide for those who don't have basic necessities. Absolutely.
Be good, be kind, be decent, get a great education and an opportunity to thrive. That sounds like good news. And this is a man who's trying to spread it. Mayor Michael Tubbs, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of Stockton, California. Man, he's 28 years old. Doesn't it make you feel like you haven't done much in your life? It certainly does for me.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.